Hello, everybody, and welcome to Provocative Personalities. My name is Angus, and I have my co-host across the way from me, Ron.
Hi, I'm Ron. I guess I'm going by Ron.
Fuck. What should we talk about?
I mean, hit me with something. We'll see where it goes.
Okay.
My ADHD is going to take over. The undiagnosed ADHD.
Yeah, that's right.
You're actually diagnosed for ADHD, aren't you?
Yeah, my doctor recognized that I was a fucking idiot from day one. My mom sent me in. She's like, what is wrong with this kid?
It's okay. See, as a brown kid, I'm Persian, by the way. So basically there's like 4 different occupations I can be recognized by my parents. I'm born as a fucking disappointment. I can become a lawyer, an engineer, or a doctor. Currently in engineering, so I've satisfied that.
Those are quite prestigious career.
Yeah. I'm hoping to go to med school after my undergrad in engineering. My sister's becoming a lawyer, but
Wow.
I'm always going to be a fucking goddamn disappointment to them, so, I mean, I can live with that.
Do you think you're a disappointment to them? I think as, a young man, your dad's probably proud that you're in university.
The first time I heard my dad say I'm proud of you was 19 years after I was born. So
wow.
Yeah, 19 years. That's the first time I remember. Now, apparently he's told me before that he was proud of me. I think I've seen it in his eyes that he's proud of me, but when they tell you they're proud of you, that's when it actually means something to you.
Yeah. Also it's interesting that you say that, a lot of men won't say I'm proud of my son because sometimes once you tell them that, they kind of ease off the throttle a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, I won't give you satisfaction until you've earned it type deal.
Sounds like fucking women fucking faking orgasms.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I've never experienced that. This is going to be so good, man.
I know.
I'm so excited. I can only move my hips in like maybe 2 degrees of freedom, like just like up, down, and like side to side. I'm like working on the like
gyration.
Rotation.
The gyration.
Yeah, gyration. That's a nice word for it.
Yeah. No. Riley Reid. Was it Riley Reid or what's the other one?
Well, there's
Abella Danger.
Don't know.
It was one of them. I saw them on a podcast. Annabelle Danger. Sorry.
Yeah.
Annabelle. It was one of them. They were saying actually it's a super like good compliment to them if a guy's finishing early apparently because it's like
really
you're so attractive like I'm
them,
just fucking
Yeah. Well, she says she gets turned on by making them fantasize about her, which it makes sense as a girl.
It makes sense. I would like a girl to fantasize about a guy, like...
I would like a girl to look at my
me.
chest and be like, yo, that guy can almost bench 2 plates.
Well, you know what, Angus? We got a long ways to go till you can bench 2 plates.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, you have a broken hand right now.
Yeah, that's true.
We're going to get there. Actually,
today was
good. You
want
to tell them about your broken hand?
Sure. So last week...
So we were walking over basically on campus, and then all of a sudden I turn my head a little bit, and then I look back and I see Andrew fucking pulling his arm back and trying to fucking line up to punch a fucking sign. Now, mind you, this sign is about like an iPhone like width,
it's about
thickness,
1/4 inch,
a quarter inch of steel. Now, the thing is, Andrew didn't know this shit is a 1/4 inch. He thought it was plastic. This man did not hold back on this punch. I've never seen someone not hold back at all in a punch. Like, boxers hold back on their punch. This man did not hold back. He just fucking sent his arm like he was going through this fucking sign.
Okay. To be fair, I thought it was like... that cardboard, but it's plastic, like election signs? I thought it was one of those. So I wound up because I wanted to punch it right out of the screws. Like I wanted it to come off for the dramatic effect, right? But I walk up and I just let into it. All 4 knuckles connect and it's just bing right through my hand. And I was just walking away like a crippled.
I just looked at this and the sound it made was concerning. I look back again and I go, Is your hand okay? This was about 5-10 seconds after. He showed me his hand. 2 of his knuckles were navy blue. That's how fast it fucking bruised. Navy blue.
You know what? Let's talk about some of the stupid shit that you've done drunk.
What have I done stupid drunk?
Well, should we pull up the Snapchat contacts? This man simps over every girl on Snapchat.
I wouldn't call
Any
it
attention
simping.
whatsoever.
I would not call it simping necessarily because I'm not trying to have sex with any of these women. I talk to them.
I think that's the definition of simping, bud. So I think this is a big problem with young men our age, and this is part of the reason why we wanted to start this podcast, was to talk about some of the issues that men have with approaching women and some of the disconnect between the genders.
The human brain is capable of a lot. We know more about space. We know more about our own fucking oceans than we know about the fucking goddamn human brain.
You know, people.
Don't quote me on that, by the way.
I think that's maybe not the ocean, but
Maybe not the ocean.
but we know what like the next galaxy
we
over is.
we know more about space than we know about our own oceans. Actually, running onto this cool fact, I don't believe in many conspiracy theories, but there is one that actually does sort of interest me.
Yeah,
So-
what is that?
NASA was originally created to explore the oceans.
Really?
Yes, actually, yeah. Fun fact, NASA was originally made to explore the oceans. After about, I think it was a year and a half, all of a sudden, they're trying to figure out how to get to space and to other planets. Now, the
wonder what
question,
changed.
the question here is, what the fuck did they find in our own oceans to make them all of a sudden jump?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I'm sure you've heard of this, but UFOs and a lot of other extraterrestrial technology, the Navy knows about it. There's countless documentation of the Navy and the Air Force actually recording these objects, interacting with them in the sky, and they have no idea what this stuff is. So maybe NASA figured something out, and you know, maybe the trails led to space, and they figured that was the next option for.
And the other thing is, like, the galaxy and the universe is so vast and constantly expanding.
Yeah.
There must be something else out there. Now, I'm not
there
going to
has
say
to be.
aliens are real or they're fake because I haven't seen anything with my own eyes. So I can't say yes or no. But there must be something else out there. I mean, there's the little fucking creature things. I don't know the name of them. But you know, like, they
There's
can
a lot.
survive in space. They're like little microorganisms.
Okay.
And they can survive in space, extreme cold temperatures, extreme hot temperatures. They look like little... Actually, let me fucking search this up for you.
And you know what's interesting is Neil deGrasse Tyson likes to talk about this all the time. There's an infinite amount of dimensions, and that every interaction we've made in life could have happened before. So how come we're unique? How come we're the only ones discovered?
I don't think we're that unique, to be honest, because I feel like these motherfuckers. I don't know if the camera can see that, but
Oh yeah, here, come
Yeah,
in. I'll
yeah.
zoom in on that bad boy.
see, they look like
Whoa.
fucking fat little fucking mite-looking things.
It looks like a fat like pre-butterfly. What do you call a pre-butterfly?
Larvae?
Yeah, like they live on leaves.
Yeah, but these things, extreme cold temperatures, extreme hot temperatures. They live in volcanoes. Yeah.
Look at that. Look at
But-
this one.
Yeah,
Oh, I've seen these all the time. Yeah, look at that.
I don't think you've seen one of these, Angus.
I actually met one last week.
You met one last week. I feel like, I wouldn't say I feel like, I think like, because fucking facts are more important than feelings. Today's society is corrupt because of fucking everyone taking into account feelings over facts. Yeah, I think even if there were extraterrestrial beings out there, they would look upon humans and we would be so primitive to them that they would not want to make contact with us. Especially if they can scan how we interact in today's society, because advanced beings would want to become more advanced and learn more.
Yeah.
Why would they want to learn from today's society when we can't even figure our own shit out as a fucking, what do you call it, species? Why can't we, if we can't fucking figure ourselves out, Why would we expect something more advanced than us to be like, oh, maybe we'll give them the technology. No, we're going to fucking corrupt. We're like parasites.
Yeah. We're dysfunctional as a society.
We're dysfunctional.
Think back about the Renaissance age. Think about the churches in Europe. How come we can't make building and art like that anymore?
Humanity was thriving back then. We were trying to expand ourselves. The biggest downfall of humanity is comfort. The biggest fucking downfall of humanity, I think, is comfort. As soon as a human becomes comfort, they give up on motivation, pushing advances in technology, pushing yourself to be better. That's what's hard today. That's why I think a lot of men lack what they used to. Back in the day, men would volunteer themselves to go to fucking war. What do we do today? We fucking sit back on our fucking couches, fucking munching on pizza and chips and watching Netflix. Is that a man to you?
Absolutely not.
Remember the fucking Roman army?
Yeah. Think about their purpose.
They were men. They had a purpose. Do men today really have a purpose?
No.
This is fucking good, by the way. This is
amazing.
I can see your eyes are lit up.
Yeah, this is really good because people don't talk like this anymore.
And
but this is passion. You know, there's a big problem with our society. And I think a lot of this has to do with phones because what phones give you is it gives you comfort and it gives you so much data that people don't know how to process.
I have to disagree. The comfort part, I agree. Phones can give you comfort. But the thing is, I don't think we use technology in the proper way it was meant to be used in. Technology was meant to advance us. We built technology to advance us. Back then, we built cars, we built planes, right? To get further in war. We tried to beat the other person. We were competitive. We tried to use that technology to advance us. Whereas I think nowadays, we use that technology to bring us comfort. We escape from having to have that drive. We procrastinate. We've become lazy as a society.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it.
Yeah. Everyone is.
Everyone is. And I think that's honestly the downfall of fucking humanity.
I think a big problem as well is that our technology is advanced to such a degree that we don't know how to necessarily use it to our benefit. Like, you could argue that phones make us more productive, but what's the payoff? You know, what's the sacrifice?
The way we use it, there is no payoff. What we're sacrificing is advancements in the world. We used to conquer countries, continents.
Yeah.
We fucking built ships, wooden fucking ships. Back then, we sacrificed our time, energy, sweat, and blood to build these ships, sail across the ocean. The Pacific Ocean isn't small. The fucking Atlantic isn't small.
And they had these shitty maps drawn by some shitty artists, too.
They went through fucking storms, choppy fucking waves. Thought they were gonna die. They fucking went through till they found land. You know how many fucking days that took? How many months?
They thought they were going to India, and they came to North America. It's like 250 degrees apart.
That's called drive. They didn't fucking give up back then.
No.
Nowadays, something's a little hard, you give up. Another fucking controversial thought, people going to therapy. Therapy can be useful, but it can also be the downfall. Because you can... Now, I've never been to therapy myself, you know what I mean? But the thing is, like, people can go to therapy, learn from it, and choose to do something about it. Some people don't even go to fucking therapy nowadays. They just choose to fucking change something when they accept something's wrong. But then there's other people who fucking sit in the same spot and go around in circles.
I think it has to do with how we process hardship in life. Like, some people can work through it, you know, and
but
process
it's rare these days.
Yeah, it is rare because I think a lot of our parents, they're that generation that they don't want to be hard on their kids. They might have been hard. They might have had a hard time.
So they want to make it comfortable for us.
Yeah, they want to make it comfortable.
But that's hurting our generation.
Yeah, indeed,
they give up.
Yeah,
people. I know so many people around me. As soon as something gets hard, they just give up.
It's a big problem, and I think a lot of this is parents are able to give their kids, whatever they want. They can create that false reality for them, but that only goes so far. You can't get whatever you want from people. You need to work for what you have. You need to get a job. You need to learn something. You need to become disciplined, and you need to go out there and get it.
Discipline. That's what they lack these days.
There's no
discipline. In
discipline.
parenting, there's a lot of parents who lack discipline, I think. Now, I grew up in a household where I was disciplined, and I love my parents for that. For actually providing me with that discipline, because that gives me drive. Now, you are one of the most fucking motivated and self-driven people I know.
Thank you.
This motherfucker here, I introduced him to the fucking gym before he fucking broke his hand, of course. But this motherfucker kept fucking going to the... Sometimes I wasn't even at the gym. He just kept showing up. He didn't give up. He still doesn't give up. He just shows... He worked out with me today with a broken hand. Now, he might have not been able to do some things, but he found other ways to fucking push himself. I admire that, and you should have fucking goddamn pride.
Thank you, Ron. I really appreciate that.
Of course.
From my point of view is, if I don't go to the gym, then I'm just going to dwell on my own failing. It really is. I don't want to focus on my downsides. I don't want to focus on my shortcomings, because I've realized nothing comes from that. And the compassionates will tell you that, you should be accepting of your disability. Nothing happens from that. We're all equal. We're all on this planet. We're all breathing the same air.
Why would you accept your own failure? Why would you accept failure? Failure is a lesson. Why would you accept it?
Often narcissistic, so they're compassionate so that they feel better, for themselves. Yeah, to themselves.
They feel guilty, and they want to use that guilt to help them, in a way, satisfy their loss.
Yeah, well, it's they feel good about themselves because they think they're helping somebody else who's of less fortunate, affairs or whatever. It doesn't bring anything. It's not real.
There's two ways you can use that guilt. Motivate yourself, pity yourself,
Yeah, and
this is a way I analyze it in my head, I guess, is when there's a problem you're fucking faced with, there's two things you can do about it. You can accept the problem and fucking do something to change it, or you can look at the problem and be like, I'm gonna give up. Now, the thing is, with that acceptance, some people to actually choose something to do about it, some people don't. Another way you can think about it, I'm not gonna deny, there are some things you can't change. Like, for example, let's say, my grandma, here you go. My grandma actually a little while ago had cancer, That's something you can't change. Like, you can't just go, I don't have cancer. You know what I mean? There are some things. You look at a problem, you go, oh, can I do something about this? No. Okay, don't fucking dwell on it then, because it'll fucking bring you down and make you unmotivated about it.
You need to make a plan.
Exactly. Now, you look at the problem, oh, I can do something. Here's an example. I looked at myself about, I think, a year and a half ago. I was sitting at fucking 235 goddamn fucking pounds. Now I'm like 5'9", so that's a hefty boy right there. That's a fucking thick, motherfucking thick with like fucking 16 capital C's after. Thick fucking goddamn boy right there. I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, fuck, that's disgusting to me. There's a problem. Can I do something about it? Yes. I can change the way I eat. I can discipline myself, and I can fucking goddamn work out. And I fucking did something about it. Now, right now, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm sitting at 188 pounds now. That's fucking progress. I'm not satisfied where I am, but I'm gonna fucking keep going, because it's something I want to do for personal growth.
Yeah, and that's super admirable. I was talking about this on triggering Twitter tables, as well as the dysmorphia that I have. I'm smaller than I'd like to be. I'd like to gain mass, and I'd like to be more broad.
You don't eat.
I don't eat. I know,
you don't eat.
That's the problem. But it's all something I can change. If you're inherently missing a chromosome, you can't.
Wait, missing or gaining?
Well, either one.
Either one.
I think if you miss one, you might be dead. But if you gain one, obviously you can't change that.
Would you be dead?
I don't know.
I don't actually know. Would you be dead? That's actually an interesting thought.
That might be a good Google.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Search that up.
Ron's searching that up. But anyways, as I was saying, you know, I've had this dysmorphia too, and friends like Ron and my other buddies, they've said, you know, Angus, if you want to change, it's up to you. You know, you need to stop being a little bitch. It's up to you.
So depending on how much of the chromosome you're missing, you can be sterile. You might need testosterone therapy. You might have impulse control. You might have above average height. You might have intellectual disability, a short stature, increased risk of certain conditions, or a shortened life expectancy.
Okay, so does it tell you which type of chromosome? It sounds like that kind of ranges throughout the whole
It could.
DNA.
I mean, we have 46 chromosomes. They're paired into 23 pairs.
Right.
It could be any of the above,
Okay.
which causes a number of different conditions as I listed. This is from Google, by the way. It's not fucking...
So how do you compare a mutated chromosome or a mutated strand of DNA with just a defect in a chromosome?
What we've done is we've mapped out the human genome. It was called the Human Genome Project, actually. We've basically mapped out the general human genome. So basically what they do now when they do DNA or genetic tests is they take some of your DNA and they basically compare it to that strand.
Right.
And it's like a ladder, basically. You know, they take that DNA and they put it out as a ladder. They know most of what can cause what. Now, there are still unknown because it's the fucking human body, of course. And there's so much to know. But they basically compare the two copies together, yours and the general one we have, and they see if there's anomalies. Now, from the known genetic disorders or anomalies you can have, they'll be able to mark down, oh, you're in risk of getting cancer. Oh, you're in the risk of being sterile. Oh, you have an extra 21 pair chromosome.
Darn it.
You have Down syndrome now.
Yeah, shit.
You know?
Yeah, I hate when that happens. Okay, so that's interesting, though. So do they have kind of a standard code set out in this genome mapping where they say, okay, if you have blue eyes, you have this code, and we know AT, GA, whatever. Like, they have it figured all out.
Yes.
So if you have blue eyes, like, they know...
They can actually find that gene in your entire genome.
Oh, okay. So this is kind of interesting. So obviously you've heard of the program CRISPR.
CRISPR-Cas9, yeah. I did a project on that in grade 10. Yeah, I did a project on that in grade 10, actually.
Yeah. What type of project was it?
We would choose. It wasn't like super in depth, but it was basically you choose.
That's 10th grade for Americans.
You choose a medical technology basically, and then you do a little presentation, like talking about what it's capable of, what it is, how it's used, costs,
right,
pros and cons, basically.
So you weren't getting into like the ethical complications of, you know, altering genes in a developing cell.
We talked a little bit about that actually. Actually, that was one of the criteria we had to hit. Oh, designer babies. So basically, like, is it ethical to be able to choose exactly how your kid's gonna look?
That's an interesting question.
It is an interesting question, because, like, for example, like, if you ask most parents and they go through that fucking genome sequence and boom, your kid's in risk of getting terminal cancer, for example. Yeah. Obviously, every single parent there would be like, no, I don't want my kid to get cancer. Change that fucking gene.
Yeah.
And basically the way CRISPR, on basic level, the way CRISPR-Cas9 works is it basically cuts out a piece of your DNA genome and it fixes that defect. So you would build synthetically a piece of that genome and then pop it back in. Cuts a piece out and then you pop it back in.
So it's a substitute.
Exactly. You substitute the error with a healthy gene. Now, thinking about that, obviously, if I was a parent, I wouldn't want my kid to be in risk of terminal cancer, obviously.
Yeah.
But then you get into the ethics of, oh, if I want my kid to have insane muscle genetics, for example. You know? If I want my kid to be able to run forever. If I want my kid to have blue eyes, perfect blonde hair, a chiseled jawline. Like, that's where the ethic, like, that's where I think everyone would agree that they don't want their kid to get terminal cancer or a genetic deformity, for example.
But how far should we go?
How far should we go? Like, how much
it's a complicated question.
How much should you be allowed to change? Because at one point, it's basically like, are they, in a way, fully your kid anymore because you've changed so much of their genome?
That's true. You're not passing on.
They have parts
chromosomes.
of you and your wife.
But it's different.
But it's different. Are you like passing on yourself, or is it something you try to make in a lab?
That's a deep question too, and I think a lot of people will think like, well, who are we to decide that? Like as people, we make poor decisions all the time. Why are we the ones who can make that decision? Like, we're also cutting out any sort of genetic abnormalities as well. It's like this gene map might not.
Why should you be allowed to make your kid a super genius?
Well, he'd be good at math.
Good at math. I mean, every Chinese kid's good at math.
But you could be good at math without being Asian.
You're good at math. You're white.
Well,
I mean, you probably could be better if you were Asian.
I could be better.
Yeah. You know, I saw this thing when I was younger. No matter how good you are at what you do, there's always a fucking 6-year-old Asian kid out there better than you.
Yeah. It's inevitable.
I
remember
when they have discipline, though. They have fucking goddamn discipline back there.
It is. It's tradition. It's built into the family system. It's, you stay at home, you sit in the basement, and you work. Your mom brings you some rice, and you work. You get your stuff down. I have a friend named Alan. I know it's not a very Asian name.
That's not an Asian name at all.
But
it's a white name.
He doesn't wear shorts, so, like, he's still pretty Asian.
Like, he just wears pants?
Yeah.
Why? What if it's like summertime? Now I have like summer pants.
Asians don't like to tan. It's like a prestigious thing back there.
They do have a lot of things like that actually back there.
Yeah.
Japan conquered Indonesia.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Actually, I have an Indonesian friend who told me about this. Because I was like trying to fucking understand the geography of where Indonesia was at Japan, and I was like, oh, like. Indonesia is like one of those islands like right under Japan, but like close to Australia. Like it's kind of like between Australia and Japan.
Isn't that where like the Philippines is?
Yeah. Indonesia is like around there. Yeah, exactly. We might be completely wrong, and
I hope not.
Like we might be absolute fucking dumbasses.
We'll probably
now,
throw
like,
up a map on the video.
But
you mentioned how your Asian friend had different kind of cultural beliefs. We talked about like the Chinese wanting to have that brighter skin as more of a prestigious aspect. Let's talk a little bit about your friend and his perspective on some of the differences in cultural representation. Her differences.
I'm not that close with this friend, so I won't actually be able to give you an opinion on what they think about cultural wise.
Okay, so I guess we should probably talk about like what this podcast is going to be about. What the guests. And
it's honestly just going to be our fucking thoughts. Just we're going to blurt out our thoughts. We're not going to talk about bullshit. We're going to say it as it is. Now the thing is, that's our perspective. Today's society is probably going to be offended because they get offended when somebody breathes. They don't like reality. They don't like facts for some fucking goddamn reason. But
yeah, I mean,
at this point, like, fucking cancel me. Fucking cancel me if you want. I'm going to say as it is. If you're going to cancel me for my
Personality?
my personality, my thoughts, like, that's on you. Like, if I don't agree with you, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. That's your opinion. I have my opinion. It's going to be fucking different. We're different fucking people.
Yeah. And, there's millions of people who will agree with you on some things. I really wanted to start this podcast because I've always been an outspoken person. And I have tons of friends, and I have so many people who've told me that they appreciate the way I speak and the way where I don't think about their reactions. I'm just trying to be whole to myself and true to myself. And I think that's super important for being organic. And I think it's a big problem with our generation is kids are scared about who they are. And there's such high expectations, or they feel like there's such high expectations, and they're kind of scared to shift into any certain identity.
Yeah, I mean, you said it as it is. That's
big problem.
It is a fucking big problem, actually. Like, people these days are scared to say what they want. And the way society works now, they almost feel forced to say what society wants them to say.
Yeah, it's like a group think. It's like a hive mind. And Musk often refers to this as the Twitter hive mind, right? So before his takeover, he would say, everybody acts in the same kind of self-righteous, compassionate type of way, and that's what led to canceling, because they as a hive thought that whatever they represent is better than what you have to say.
And that's what they were fighting, isn't it? They were trying to fight people who tried to say they're better than them. But in fact, they were just trying to put out their opinion.
Yeah.
But they went, oh no, they think they're better than us, so we're going to pretend we're better than them. I have nothing against feminism. I have something against what feminism's become. Because I think men and women should be equal. We should have the same rights. If men and women should have the same rights, I completely agree with that. Women shouldn't be suppressed for doing something. Men shouldn't be suppressed for doing something. But the thing is, nowadays, there's a lot of double standards where, as a man, you're expected to do this, and this, and the list fucking goes on forever. Whereas women are basically going, yeah, so men should be expected to do all of this, but I shouldn't have any respect for them, and they should just listen to me because I'm a woman, and that's what feminism is. But is that really feminism? That's not equality anymore, because we're held to a different standard than they are. Now, when it comes to, this is what it gets into, fucking paying for dates, for example. I have grown up in a household where, as a man going on a date with a woman, for example, out of respect and my manners, the way I was trained and brought up, I will pay for you. I have no doubt and problem to pay for you. I will pay for you. I will respect you. I will hold open a door for you. But nowadays, it's weird. Because there's women going around going like, oh, yeah, no, I'll totally offer to pay. But if he says, yes, I can pay for it, and he doesn't pay, I'm going to fucking leave him. He's not getting a second date, for example.
Yeah.
If you're offering, why would you fucking offer if you won't take the responsibility of paying after?
Yeah, and that's exactly it. I think as a man and you're looking for, feminine attention, whatever that is, if it's a relationship or just a fun night, I think it's your responsibility to, provide. If you're not willing to do that, are you really willing to actually get into a relationship with a woman?
If I'm paying, I don't expect you to sleep with me. I don't expect you to do something as a favor for me. That's just how I've been brought up.
Mm-hmm.
But women set all these expectations, like, for example, oh, he needs to be this strong. He needs to pay for me. He needs to have so-and-so job. He needs to be able to do this, do that, drive this car, own his own house, be blah, 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 blah. Yet if we remotely say anything about a woman, it's completely wrong. We get fucking shittered on for it. Like here's a good one. You want a man to fucking pay for you? You want him to drive a nice car? You want him to have his own house? You want him to cook for you? You want him to take you out? You want him to do all these fucking goddamn things for me? Walk through my door, stand on a scale. You want him to be tall? I can't control what my dick size is. I can't control what my fucking height is. You can control what your weight is.
You know, you just listed off so many examples, and I'm trying to think of some expectations that we have for women. There's not a lot. For me, it's you have to be athletic and you need to hold a conversation. Those are the two primary ones. I don't give a fuck about how much money you make. I don't give a fuck about how many friends you have. I don't care.
Oh, there's another thing. A fucking man's salary. The amount of times I've had a woman ask me to buy them a drink at a bar or a club or something.
It's expected.
It's expected.
That's
Why?
the difference.
I've never actually. I've had like maybe one drink bought for me by a woman, but why should I be expected to give you all these things, yet you're gonna tell me you're just gonna list off exactly what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
You won't hold a conversation. All you want is money. All you want is that credit card. Personally, I wouldn't necessarily ask a girl for a kiss. If I bought them a drink, I would not expect a kiss back.
Okay. What would you expect back?
But I would at least expect her to have enough respect for me to hold maybe a 10-minute conversation.
Yeah. Well, at least I would hope.
But nowadays, if you say that, it's like, oh no, like he's just trying to sleep with. Most guys aren't trying to sleep with you.
Well, I would say it depends on the
There's a
time and
lot
place.
of. There is a lot of. Yeah, you have to. Obviously, there's always different situations.
Yeah.
But you respect them enough to buy them a drink. You respect them enough to have a conversation with them.
Yeah, and you're showing curiosity.
Exactly. You're trying to interact. You're trying to socially interact, and because that's what's expected, you'll buy that drink.
Yeah.
Back in the day, you wouldn't necessarily buy a girl a drink to have a conversation with them. You would have a conversation.
Yeah. And there would be no
expectations back and forth. Why should we be expected to fill this entire checklist for you guys when women are expecting us? Sorry, wait. So okay. Let me get that clear. Sorry. Why should we be able to check off this fucking entire checklist for us where you don't have enough respect when you're in a relationship with a woman? You're expected to not look at any other woman. You're expected to be at home, not go out with your friends, not party, not anything. But then when you ask your girlfriend to be like, oh, don't go and party and club with your single friends, you're basically yelled at, you're told you're controlling and you're fucking oppressing them and they can't be themselves. Yet, did they not ask you the same thing?
Yeah. I don't know if it has to be that way. So I think part of that's the feminine hypergamy. They want to be in control of the relationship, right? So they want to tame an alpha man. That's what every girl's dream is, right? They want the strongest, they want the most alpha man, but they want to tame them because they want to settle, right? And they want the genes. So with that comes fuck social situations such as controlling them. They don't want them to go out because ultimately if he is an alpha, then they're not controlling him. So what a woman tries to do is lock them down, right? Stay in, come have a cuddle with me, stay in bed, don't go to work today. And it's the classic...
There's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, oh, that's toxic masculinity.
But it's just a way to describe behavior.
Exactly. The way we're describing an alpha is a man who's independent, who is provided and prioritized his own self-growth over pleasing everyone.
He's living in his own frame.
He's competent with who he is. He's competent what he does.
So this leads me to the question, like, if you truly are confident in who you are and you're living in your own frame, can a woman tame you? And do these same expectations manifest
I don't think taming is the right word to use. Both sides, the man and the woman in the relationship, have to make sacrifices for it. That's how a relationship works.
Okay.
Women say this all the time. Communication.
Yep.
I completely agree. But then there's another thing where women have double standards with communication, where half the time they'll say something and mean something else.
Yeah.
The whole time
That's
you
the
tell us
overt communication.
Exactly. The whole
Or
time
covert.
The whole time you tell us to communicate, yet the way you communicate, you are not communicating what you actually want.
It's
How
a
the fuck are
childish
we
way to communicate.
Exactly.
It
How
really
the fuck
is.
are we supposed to figure it out?
And that's the point.
It's
They
lying
don't want
in a
you
way.
to figure it out. That women often communicate with their body, their emotions, and not necessarily their words, right?
In today's day and age, society has gained more power than an individual, because now society, if they don't agree with what you do, they will be able to do whatever the fuck they want to you. And that's not fair anymore. That is not fair. You should be able to put out your opinion out there and not be fucking bashed for it. You know what I mean? You should be able to put your opinion out there. Some people may not agree. Some people may agree.
Well, it's freedom of diverse opinions.
They talk so much about freedom of speech. There is none.
There's no freedom of equal opportunity, that's for sure. It's sad to me when I go somewhere and somebody thinks less of me purely because of who I am. I was at the bar and I was talking to this waitress and she said, "I can tell you're ignorant." And I said, "Really? How come?" She said, "Well, first of all, you're a cis white male." You know what? I told my mom that. My mom's more left leaning. I mean, left as in like not left today, but she's moderate. She said, that woman's never going to get anywhere in life. If she has that attitude, nobody's going to take her seriously. She's just restricting herself. And I totally agree. It's like you have to treat everybody like they have something to offer. Because if you don't, why are you here? Why are you talking? We're here to communicate with each other. It's just a shame that people think their opinions are more valuable.
Even if I think someone's opinion is wrong, I will still listen to them. Now, the judgment will be by me towards their opinion, but I will not shut down their opinion. Everybody is allowed to have their own opinion. Everybody is allowed to say what they want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should never think we're
You might
better
disagree.
than others.
You might disagree. Nobody's better than anybody else.
And nobody should.
Society, that's what all the fucking left-leaning people are talking about now too. They're like, everybody is the same. Oh, is everybody the same? Because you tend to treat people who have right-winged thoughts a lot fucking differently than yourselves. We'll leave you with that for today. Tune on for the next episode.
Goodbye, everybody.
This is Hansel, the first and the last show. We're working on the name still.